All right, on this episode of Bowks Talking Bouts, excited to be talking to an individual set to compete at the February 25th UFC Fight Night. A very intriguing flyweight fight set to take place as Gabriella Fernandes and Jasmine Jasudavicius test skills, and always good having Jasmine on the show. How's your day going so far, Jasmine?
It's going well so far. I was at practice this morning and now just chill for a little bit.
Yeah, and a bit of an opponent switch for this one. Is that something that you're, pretty adaptable with? Like, was there certain amendments you had to make in your training preparations for Gabriella Fernandes versus what you were doing for Courtney Casey?
Yeah, obviously this chick, she's a southpaw, and my prior opponent wasn't a southpaw, so obviously a little bit different there. But I mean, nothing crazy.
And I mean, still like a bit of time out from the fight, like a certain level of it being a short notice replacement. But I guess I'm wondering if there's been perhaps a level of tape study from your coaches on your opponent, just because I'm seeing they were, a former LFA flyweight champion, and it seems like they have a decent enough bit of momentum heading into this. Like, has someone from your team or you yourself been kind of dissecting tape?
Yeah, of course. I last time that my opponent, we didn't know anything. She hadn't fought for 2 years or anything like that, so we knew nothing about her. Now it's nice fighting this girl because there is tape on her. I get to see her last two fights, and my coaches they get to watch her and see her fights, and that it's definitely good.
Yeah, and just in terms of like what she does well, like what would you say her bigger stylistic attributes would be?
She's a big kicker, a lot of head kicks.
Yeah, so that's like the biggest tool that you've seen from her, just like effectiveness with that kick and everything like that.
Yeah, she southpaw kicker, pretty basic, but obviously talented. It looks like she throws hard, but yeah, I mean, if you're breaking it down to the nuts and bolts, southpaw kicker.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense then. And just kind of briefly addressing the last fight there, like obviously I saw the Instagram post you had there, and it seemed like a crushing one for you, but I would think there's some takeaways from an experience like that all the same. Like, was there any takeaways from that you can cite from that last bout against Natalia Silva?
Yeah, of course. Every camp there's like different things that you learn, and I learned a lot from that camp and from that fight. I feel like that was my first like real loss, because my other loss I won that fight. Both me and her know I won that fight, but whatever, judges saw it the other way, and so of course, like, there is that loss, so it kind of lights a fire under your ass. But now this time around, it was like I really felt the loss, because I did lose the fight, and I knew even in the ring I knew I lost the fight, and it's fucking crushing. And so obviously that motivation moving forward, pressure makes diamonds, and I think that it's gonna show that I've been working hard after that loss. I didn't just fucking roll over and die.
Well, I mean, that's very interesting insight, because I was essentially thinking the same thing. Like, it's not technically your first loss in MMA, but I also saw that fight you had in, CFFC and everything, and I also, thought you won that fight. So I figured maybe this one would be a bit of a different experience, just because, I mean, you could argue, like I said, that you were undefeated as a pro prior to that in a certain sense. Not technically, but,
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but I mean, a great, telling moment, a lot of, lessons to be learned. And you were talking about like certain training dynamics. Like, are you mostly at Niagara top team ahead of this one? I know you get in work at like a couple different gyms and stuff like that, but it seems like that's generally the core kind of base.
Yeah, I was just in Florida for the last like 3.5, 4 weeks, something like that. and I was at ATT training there, so I supplemented my training there. But now I'm home to fine tune and to kind of dot all the I's and cross all the T's, and then right into fight week.
Yeah, that looked like a cool experience there and everything. Like I saw you working with Michelle Montague and saw a picture with Kayla Harrison as well. Like, can you speak to like that whole experience? Because it seemed like you probably would have gotten a lot from that.
Yeah, that was an awesome experience. The room's deep, and they got a ton of talented women there, all around my same size. It's nice because I can go with the 15ers, but then I can still go with the 35ers too, because being it's very good for me.
Yeah, for sure, and obviously a different dynamic here, but cool to see like you getting in some work with Artem Levin circa October there. I imagine some cool takeaways came from that as well.
Yeah, he's a G, man. He's so good. He's got such a very smart mind for striking, and is able to explain things, and like the drills that he has. He's an awesome dude. I look forward to working with him more in the future.
For sure. So you see yourself going out in that general area a bit more, like also speaking to like the American top team training dynamics. Like you could see that being like a space you're cross training at more and more as the year goes on, the years go on, kind of thing.
Yeah, for sure. They got a good set of girls there they're dedicated and hardworking, and I gel super well with all the athletes and the coaches there. So it's a great little kind of home away from home.
Yeah, I was going to say, it seems like the Niagara top team individuals are enjoying a bit of training over there. Like, I know Aaron Jeffrey likes getting in that work at Kill Cliff. Like, I saw him sparring Ong La on Song the other day. So, yeah, it must be a good change of pace, too. Like, I mean, obviously you're going there to get in work, but probably good to, get in some of that good sunny weather and kind of, get away from this mess a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. I actually did notice, like, those little, like, kind of injuries that you have, the cold makes them a little bit worse. And having, like, the nice hot sun, getting in and out of the car after practice isn't as achy.
You finding, like, the vitamin D is helping? Like, are you finding you're getting outside a little more? I guess I'm not that averse to the cold, but better to be out in the warmth than to be out in all this. You got to be a little more bundled up.
Yeah, well, it's nice because after sparring, a lot of time I would go to the beach and do like kind of a swim workout, like a cardio thing, and it's nice doing a swim one instead of doing road work in the winter time. It's just that much nice. It's different challenge, but it's nice being at the beach.
Yeah, because, obviously there's, like, a certain sense of it being, like, active recovery. Like, it seems like great cardio exercise, that I've noticed, but I feel like it would be very forgiving on the body, kind of, as you're talking about, less achy and everything. I would think that would really, pay dividends in, more hard training and sustaining it and everything.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no, you love to see it for sure, and it seems like you really want to be active this year for sure. Like, I saw you were looking at 3 or 4 fights this year, and I imagine you're happy getting to fight relatively earlier this year, because I think like you could be able to sustain that and be able to potentially even get in the 4 fights there. Like, was that something you were thinking when this bout offer came your way, just in the context of being able to have the strength of schedule you're looking to have?
I was trying to fight like November or December, but they were all already booked up, and so they got me February, which is even better, even more preparation, and it's nice to fight early, hoping to fight 3 or 4 times this year, and really make my name in the 125-pound division.
Yeah, I think you really have a good chance to do that as well. Like, I think you can, if you're looking to have that kind of schedule you're looking to have there, I feel like you can really get a good streak going on and even, find yourself potentially like within that rankings hierarchy? Is that something you're mapping out as an express goal, being within the UFC flyweight rankings, say this time next year?
Yeah, that's exactly it. Up.
Yeah, I mean, definitely a doable thing, I think. I mean, just anyone that knows the skill you bring to the table, I think definitely doable for sure. And like I'm saying, you're starting kind of earlier in the year, but something I was kind of noticing that I also wanted to touch on, it seems like you're, getting some more videos out there, like getting some, Twitter videos and things going on, like some person on the street style videos almost. Like, how's that been as a creative outlet, and like what initially kind of inspired you to go in that direction there?
Yeah, I've been really just trying to be more active on social media. Before I didn't know how much of an importance it was, and now I'm finally like realizing that it's part of the fight game is an entertainment industry. And I have to be relevant, and I have to be like available and put myself out there. And it's tough because I really don't like social media. If it was my choice, man, I wouldn't even own a cell phone. I'd be like, call my landline, whatever, leave a message. So it's very, very unnatural for me. But I'm really trying to like embrace it and make it my own.
Yeah, well, I do get that sense from it, like in like what you're talking about, trying to make it your own. Like, it does seem to have your kind of unique fingerprint on it. But I totally get what you mean. Like, if I feel like what I do with social media, like, I mean, it's a great networking tool, so obviously that part of it is fun. But like, I don't know, the whole posting thing and the rate that you're supposed to post and all this different stuff. I'm kind of in the same boat as you. It's like you almost just want to like chuck your phone away and be done with it, kind of thing.
Yeah, it's way too much. I don't generally like even being on social media, like scrolling through and all that. I don't know. I feel like I've only been in the sport for a small amount of time, and it's like at that time that I'm using on this social media, I could be watching tape. I could be watching, video technique videos. Like, there's just for me personally, there's just so many more like things that I thought were very important, and of course those things are very important, but social media is important too, and so I've been trying to put more importance on it in my life now.
Yeah, well, I think you're kind of like, finding that voice that we're, sort of talking about there. Like, the MMA is fucked series is pretty funny. Like, I saw the coconut water and Pedialyte situation. That definitely sounds pretty messy. I'm glad I've not been in a situation like that. But it's kind of interesting because, like, from like a layman kind of perspective, like where I'm at, I guess, like, you don't necessarily hear those kind of stories as much. So, no, it's fun. I mean, and glad to hear you're, enjoying it too.
Yeah, it's sweet too. I'm like, right now getting a website or whatever set up that people can write in anonymous stories, because I think part of it is like some people, they don't want to tell me their stories, and then I gotta like go talk to them, or maybe whatever it is, they don't want to attach themselves to a story, but it's a hilarious story, so I'm getting some set up that is completely anonymous, so I won't even know who it is that's telling the story or anything. That way I think more genuine stories will come out and more crazy shit will come.
No, that's really clever, because like I think a lot of people, like you said, are more comfortable to convey those certain things when there's the anonymity and everything like that. So yeah, definitely looking forward to seeing how that series develops. Do you have like a few more episodes in that series kind of in the tank right now, as it were?
Yeah, like we got a couple more stories. I don't read the stories beforehand. I work with a guy, and so he'll like read through them to make sure that they're good stories. And then that way, when I do read them, it's my genuine reactions. There's nothing staged about it. It's like I'm literally reading it for the first time. That's why I like a little bit have a complex, because I don't think I'm the strongest reader, and so it's like I'm kind of putting myself out there. I feel like I'm in like fourth grade again when you know that your part of the paragraph is coming up and you gotta like read that part and make sure it's good. You're not stammering over the words. And I feel like I had to like almost get over that. I like no, because it has to be genuine. So I just read them, and yeah, maybe I'm not the best at reading it out loud, but I'm gonna get better.
I was going to say you described it very well, though, in the sense of, like, the reactions are, very authentic. So, yeah, that definitely comes across. And I think that's really, like, the best kind of stuff you can put out there on social media. Like, I hate when you can get the sense someone's kind of, like, working an angle and, creating a bit of a character and everything. But, yeah, no, it's been cool to see you've been going in that direction with it. But you've been really good with your time, Jasmine. I also want to be mindful of your time and schedule and everything, though. So is there anything you might want to sort of add as a parting thought as we're kind of wrapping up here?
No, just thank you so much for having me and chatting, and it was good.
Yeah, always fun getting to talk before these different fights. It's been a cool journey so far. Been a long road since the days of the Blue Star restaurant and stuff like that, and the FCP fights in Rochester and all.
Yeah, seriously.
But yeah, the next chapter in this story going to be unfurling on February 25th. And yeah, excited to see the Gabriella Fernandes fight. And thanks for providing, some good insights ahead of this one. And yeah, you have a good rest of your day too, Jasmine.
Awesome. Thank you. You too.